Good morning, Year 2. It's so lovely to see you this morning. So thank you so much for joining our first online maths session. Thank you so much to your parent or carer who is supporting you with your home learning. We really, really appreciate your support. So thank you so much. I'm really excited to share with you our first maths lesson, as I know how much you love maths. But first of all, I'm just going to share what we're going to be focusing on over the next few weeks and what an online maths lesson may look like. So our block of learning for the next few weeks is going to be multiplication and division, which is the first time we have focused on this since being in Year 2, obviously aside from the quick recall practiced on times table rock stars. As you can see here, there is an overview of the learning broken down into small steps. The first small step that we'll be focusing on today is recognising equal groups. When thinking about what a maths lesson looks like online, we've tried to mirror this as close to possible as what it would look like in the classroom. So to start with, the children will begin with writing the date and learning objective in their maths book, which you have at home, and then I will share the steps to success. They're the steps that the children will follow to be able to achieve the learning objective. In the classroom, we would normally have the explore part of the lesson together on the carpet. This part of the lesson is where the learning is put into the children's hands and they explore mathematical concepts with one another, engaging in mathematical discussion before going back to their tables to answer questions independently and progressing through step 1, 2, 3. As you can see here, we're going to explore a step at a time. So it'll be amazing if you can engage in mathematical discussion with your child at home during these parts of the session. There'll be times when I suggest pausing the video or having a conversation. As you can see, the children will then move on to step 1 question. So at this point, it'd be great to pause the video whilst they work in their maths book. And this process will be repeated for step 2 and step 3 before all the answers are shared at the end of the lesson. You will see that on the answers, some of the questions have different numbers as they do on the slides I'm sharing with you. The reason for that is that the questions have been broken down into step 1, step 2 and step 3, which is the format we use across the whole school. So it's just keeping that consistency. In terms of presentation, you've got a brand new book today, which is really exciting. I know what it's like having a new book, first clean page. It's very, very exciting. So I just wanted to share with you a few presentation reminders for whilst we're working at home. As you can see here, there's a fantastic example of presentation. It's really important that we write the question number in the margin. So as you can see here, 3A and 3B is written in the margin. It's also important that we only write across the half the page only, so filling out 1 column in our book before moving on to the second half of the page before starting a clean page. Between lessons, so between days, we leave a couple of lines just so that each session is divided, and it'd be brilliant if you can continue to use 1 digit per square, but of course when we come to using words, we write neatly on the line using cursive and joined handwriting rather than 1 letter per square. I know you take great pride in what you do, so I'm sure your presentation will be fantastic at home as well. So today we are going to be focusing on recognising equal groups. It'd be brilliant if you could pause the video here and write the date and learning objective. Well done. So today, thinking about our steps to success, the first thing we're going to do is identify how many equal groups there are. So think about the word identify, that means to look. So we're going to look at how many equal groups there are. Secondly, we're going to identify the amount inside each equal group. And then we're going to write a sentence describing the equal groups. And we're going to practice saying these sentences together today, just like we would in the classroom. If the groups are not equal, explain why. And of course, when solving a problem, please make sure you explain. So there's an example of some phrases you might use here. So I know this because, or if you're asking whether you agree or disagree, explaining using I disagree because, or if you're answering if something is correct or incorrect, starting with I know Robert is correct because, or whoever the character may be. So as we're recognising equal groups, these are the words we're going to be particularly focusing on today. So the words are equal, unequal, and not equal. So I wondered whether you could pause the video here and have a conversation at home about what these words might mean. Well done. So equal means that they have the same value or the same amount. And unequal has the same meaning as not equal. So it means there's not the same value, there is not the same amount. So first of all, beginning our explore session, we're going to have a look at these representations. I wonder if you can tell an adult at home what these representations are called. Well done. These are part-whole models. So if we have a look at the first part-whole models there, the blue ones, the question is asking us, are these wholes equal? So I can tell from looking at the blue part-whole models, I can see that we know the parts, but the wholes are missing. So I'm going to share an example with you first of all. So I can see that one part is 0 and the other part is 4. So part add part equals whole. So I know 0 add 4 equals 4. The whole is 4. Okay, having a look at the next part whole model, I can see that the first part equals 1 and the other part equals 3. So I know 1 add 3 equals 4. So the whole, again, is 4. So are these wholes equal? Now I remember equal means that they have the same value and the same amount, because I know if there were, this is a number 4, it could represent 4 counters, for example. So if I looked at the next part whole model, again, the digit is 4. That would represent 4 counters, so 4 things. So the wholes are equal. I wonder if you could pause the video and have a go with the adult at home to recognise whether the wholes are equal for the green part whole models and the black part whole models. Well done. So as you can see here, sharing the answers with you, looking at the green part whole models, the wholes are not equal. And we know that because the wholes have a different amount. So we know, for example, that the whole 9 is greater than 8. If we have a look at the black part whole models, we can see that the wholes are equal. That is because the wholes are both 14, which have the same value. So bearing that in mind, we're now going to have a look at exploring some pictures and thinking about groups and whether they are equal or unequal. So we have some friends here, 2 of which skipping along. They're looking excited for what they're going to eat. So as you can see here, I can see that there are 3 groups. The groups are shown in a different way though. The groups are shown with objects. What objects are showing the groups? Brilliant, well done. They are plates. So having a look at the picture, how many plates can you see? Fantastic, there are 3 plates. Should we say that together? There are 3 plates. Well done, thank you for joining in with me. Okay, we're now going to have a look at the amount inside each group. So that means looking to see how many strawberries are on each plate. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 strawberries, and I'm just going to check that there are 5 strawberries on each plate. 5 and 5. Brilliant. There are 5 strawberries on each plate. Can you repeat that for me? Well done. Thank you for saying the STEM sentence. Brilliant. So we know there are 3 plates and there are 5 strawberries on each plate. I wonder how many equal groups there are if we're thinking about now explaining using our mathematical words. Pause the video and have a go with the person at home. Brilliant. So there are 3 equal groups of 5 because there are 5 strawberries in each group. Well done, Year 2. Okay, moving on, what can you see in the picture now? Brilliant, dice. So I'd like you to pause the video with the person at home and see if you can explore this picture and describe what you can see using the STEM sentences provided. Well done. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dice. There are 5 dice. And how many spots are on each dice? Well done. There are 4 spots on each dice. Can you repeat those first 2 sentences for me? There are 5 dice. There are 4 spots on each dice. Well done. Now let's have a think about how we can describe this picture using our mathematical words. How many equal groups are there? How do you know how many equal groups there are? Fantastic. And how many is inside each equal group? Fantastic. So we know that there are 5 equal groups of 4 because there are 4 dots inside each group. Okay. Now, just coming back to this question. So we've described what we can see. What does the number 5 represent in this picture? What does the number 4 represent in this picture? Pause the video and have a conversation at home. Well done. So we know that the digit 5 represents how many dices there are and the amount of equal groups. We know that the digit 4 represents the number of spots on each dice. Fantastic. Well done, Year 2. Okay, so here you can see the step 1 questions which you're going to solve in your maths book. So in a moment, can you please pause the video and focus on answering these questions? There are STEM sentences provided, so for both 1A and 1B, you need to write the sentences in your book describing what you can see in the pictures. Well done, Year 2. I'm so proud of you for all of the effort that you've put into the step 1. So well done. We're going to be moving on to exploring step 2 now, thinking about whether the groups are equal or not equal. So on your screens, you should be able to see some pictures. So if we have a look, first of all, at the fish in the fish bowls, we're going to be thinking about whether the groups are equal, meaning that they have the same amount in each group, or not equal, so there's not the same amount in each group. So first of all, I know I need to identify how many groups there are, and I'm going to practice using the STEM sentences that we've been saying together. There are groups. How many groups are there? There are 2 groups. I don't know if they're equal or not equal yet because I need to check the amount inside each group. What are your predictions? Have a conversation with somebody at home. Brilliant. So I can see that there are 4 fish in the first group But there are only 3 fish in the second group. So this means that the groups are not equal because there is not the same amount in each group. I wonder if you could pause the video and with the adult at home that is helping you, describe what you can see in the picture of the cookies and the picture of the apples, describing whether the groups are equal or not equal using the STEM sentences we've been saying together. If the groups are unequal, how could you make the groups equal? It'd be great to discuss this too. Well done, Year 2. Thank you for talking about it at home, just like we would in the classroom. That's amazing. Next, we're going to be moving on to step 2 questions, which you'll be solving in your maths book. 2A asks which group is unequal. Explain why. As you were explaining in your maths book, it would be amazing if you could identify which group by either saying the first group, the second group, the third group, the fourth group, or the fifth group is unequal because, okay? And then for 2B, 2C and 2D, they are similar style questions. So as you can see, there are missing objects in the groups. So for each question, please can you draw the groups and complete them so that they are all equal, so that they all have the same amount inside each group, and write the sentence below to describe the groups. Fantastic, well done Year 2. So moving on to exploring step 3, as you can see here, there are some statements on the right hand side here and some pictures on the left. And we're going to explore matching the statements to the pictures to ensure they're describing what we can see. So first of all, I'm going to read the first statement, which says 4 groups of 5. So I'm just going to highlight the key information, 4 groups. Okay, so here in the pictures, the groups are shown as circles. So I can see that the first picture has 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. And so does the third picture, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there are 4 groups of 5. What does the digit 5 represent? Pause the video and have a conversation at home. Well done. The digit 5 represents the amount inside each group. So if there are 4 groups of 5, I know that there needs to be 5 green gummy bears inside the group. What one is it? I need to check the amount. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's only 4 inside each group in the first picture. So it must be this last one here because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gummy bears in each group. So I'm going to draw a line to match the statement to the correct group. I wonder if you could pause the video here and have a discussion with your adult at home around which statements match which pictures. Fantastic. So for the next statement, 4 groups of 4, we know that the first picture has 4 groups, and we also know that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 gummy bears inside each group. Well done. On the last statement, it says there are 5 groups. So we know that there needs to be 5 circles. And it says 5 groups of 4. So there are 4 gummy bears inside each group. Well done, Year 2. You're doing so well this morning. Okay, we're now going to explore another step 3 question, which is really exciting. So here the question is asking us which image is each child describing. So as you can see at the bottom, we have image A, image B, and image C. So image is another word for a picture. So we're thinking about what picture the children are describing. I wonder if you could pause the video here before exploring what Ollie, Nell and Will are saying. It'd be great for you to engage in conversation at home about how would you describe these pictures here. Well done. So let's have a look. Ollie says, I have 2 equal groups of 2. Okay, so there needs to be 2 equal groups first of all. Let's have a look at A. There is 1. I'm trying my trying my best on the laptop. You have to bear with me. 2, 3. So there are 3 equal groups in picture A. But Ollie says that he has 2 equal groups. Okay, let's have a look at picture B. There is 1 equal group, 2 equal groups, 3 equal groups. So it can't be B either. Let's have a look at C. 1 equal group, 2 equal groups. Fantastic. So Ollie said he has 2 equal groups. It must be C. But let's check. He said he had 2 equal groups of 2, which must mean that there is 2 inside each group. And as you can see here, the Numicon pieces are showing 2. Fantastic. So Ollie is describing picture C. I wonder if you could pause the video here and discuss at home what picture Nell is describing and what picture Will is describing. Well done, year 2. So let's have a look together. Nell says, I have 3 equal groups of 1. We can see in picture A and B that they both have 3 equal groups. So we need to look closely as what is inside each equal group. So Nell says I have 3 equal groups of 1. There's going to be 1 inside each equal group. We can see in picture A that there is 1 cube inside each group. So Nell is describing picture A. Will said I have 3 equal groups of 2, and we can see in picture B that there are 2 cherries inside each group. Well done, year 2. Next, we're going to be moving on to step 3 questions. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you to pause the video here. On 3A, there are 2 parts. The first part of the question says, how has Annie sorted these groups? In your book, please explain how Annie has sorted these groups. You might choose to say in the first group, Annie had, and then describe the second group in more detail. The second part of the question says, draw a line to show where this group belongs. So you might choose to draw the groups and add the picture, or likewise, you might choose to explain whether the group belongs in the first group or the second group, okay? On 3B, it says match the sentences to the pictures. Of course, you haven't got the pictures in your with you today, so I suggest drawing the groups neatly in your book with the sentence underneath to describe it. For 3C, this is an explaining question to explain whether Whitney is correct or incorrect. So it would be amazing if you could start with, I think Whitney is correct because, or I think Whitney is incorrect because, making sure that you explain your mathematical thinking in great detail. Well done, year 2. So thank you so much for all of your effort with today's session. You've done so well. I'm really proud of you all. I'm going to share with you now the answers for each step. As I explained earlier, the questions are the same. However, the numbers on the answer sheet might be slightly different as they're not broken down into step 1, step 2, and step 3. So please pause the video on this slide and the following slide to review your learning with an adult at home. Well done, year 2. I'm so proud of you for all of your fantastic maths learning today. So keep up the good work and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Well done.